Following World War II, numerous veterans utilized the GI Bill of Rights, enabling them to pursue education and home ownership opportunities. At first, there was a big problem with not enough houses. However, developers like William Levitt solved this issue by building lots of inexpensive homes in the suburbs close to cities. These homes were made quickly and in large quantities. Numerous veterans and their families relocated to these newly built residences. Women had important roles in the workforce and decision-making during the war. Upon their husbands' return, they hesitated to relinquish these roles, resulting in an increase in the divorce rate. Following the war, the United States shifted its economy from a state of war to a state of peace. The change led to job cuts for defense workers, and the return of veterans made unemployment worse. When the controls on prices during wartime were removed, the prices went up. In order to stabilize the economy, Congress has reintroduced regulations on wages, prices, and rents. Over time, the economy started to get better by itself. President Harry S. Truman encountered many challenges following World War II. In 1946, there was a significant problem with labor unrest. Strikes occurred among steel workers, coal miners, and railroad workers. Truman, although in favor of labor rights, did not permit strikes to bring the nation to a standstill. He made a threat to conscript the striking workers into the military and compel them to resume work, which ultimately led to the unions surrendering. After the war, the economy faced shortages, inflation increased, and strikes occurred. As a result, voters started to lean towards conservative views. Conservative Republicans took control of Congress in the 1946 election. There was an outbreak of racial violence in the southern states, as African American veterans were demanding their rights. Truman had a meeting with African American leaders who asked for a law against lynching, the elimination of the poll tax, and the establishment of a permanent commission for civil rights. Nevertheless, since Congress failed to enact any civil rights legislation, Truman decided to take matters into his own hands. In 1948, he issued an executive order to integrate the armed forces and eliminate discrimination in government employee hiring. The Supreme Court also decided that African Americans cannot be refused housing in specific neighborhoods, showing that the federal government is dedicated to dealing with racial problems. Truman's stance on civil rights during the 1948 presidential election caused a division within the Democratic Party. The states' rights Democratic Party was created by Southern Democrats, also called Dixiecrats, who were against civil rights. At the same time, a few liberal members of the Democratic Party formed the Progressive Party. Truman, who was initially behind in the opinion polls, made a greater effort by criticizing the Republican-controlled Congress for their lack of action. He ultimately achieved a close win, and the Democrats gained control of Congress. Truman's reform program, called the Fair Deal, encountered obstacles in Congress. Congress failed to pass health insurance and a crop subsidy program for farmers. However, they did manage to pass an increase in the minimum wage, extend Social Security, and provide financial aid for cities. Although Truman faced opposition to some of his ideas, he achieved notable progress in promoting civil rights and social welfare throughout his presidency. Following President Truman's choice to not seek re-election in 1952, the primary concerns during the campaign revolved around the ongoing stalemate in the Korean War and the widespread fear of communism and McCarthyism. The Republicans chose General Dwight D. Eisenhower, a war hero commonly referred to as Ike, who won a decisive victory against Democrat Adlai Stevenson. During his presidency, Eisenhower embraced moderate policies and aimed to steer clear of contentious issues. However, two important civil rights events took place during his tenure. The Supreme Court made a significant decision in 1954 called Brown v. Board of Education. They declared that public schools cannot separate students based on their race. Furthermore, when Rosa Parks declined to surrender her bus seat to a white man, she was arrested, sparking a boycott of the Montgomery, Alabama, bus system. This event played a crucial role in the civil rights movement. Eisenhower was a well-liked president who achieved numerous accomplishments during his tenure. Although he did not play a prominent role in promoting civil rights, he accomplished other significant feats. Some of the actions taken were making sure the budget was balanced, establishing the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, raising the minimum wage, extending benefits for Social Security and unemployment, providing more money for public housing, and aiding the construction of interstate highways. The main goal of Eisenhower's administration was to enhance the general welfare of the American people through various domestic initiatives.